let's get to it. I hope all of you are doing well. I hope all of you can hear me loud and clear. And without any further ado, let's get right into it. So yes, the webinar invite that you guys got caught your attention. The first line you would have read was, is your current accounts payable process hampering business growth, right? And that's what we all got to find out. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Let me begin by talking about the accounts payable process itself, right? At this point in times, a lot of you all have probably switched over from a manual process to automated or partially automated process. Right? Some of you are possibly still running a manual operation, but the process itself is a very time-consuming process. It does require a lot of FTEs, dedicated FTEs that are put on the task. And the task itself, all right, let's be honest with each other, is a very mundane task, all right? It's not the most fun task at all. And a lot of accounts payable staff can actually feel that on a day-to-day basis, right? And what really happens in this process is it's not that, you have unskilled staff. It's sometimes the job itself would get them to just, tend to overlook things, that tend to get distracted. And I think that's one of the big challenges of the current AP process right now. Human intervention is susceptible to interferences, distractions, right? And the process itself involves actually a lot of tasks, right? From actually receiving invoices that might come to your email, that have to be actually printed out, put on a paper. You probably have to staple a purchase order with a invoice and then push it across to a desk, right? So like a combustion engine, right? In today's age and age, when they make engines, the reason they make engines more efficient is they reduce the amount of moving parts, right? And simply put, that's what we aim to do today with accounts payable. We tend to reduce the amount of human intervention, right? So you guys have, of course, a lot of AI automation, and that is a lot of companies right now that actually use automation on the accounts payable process, right? So streamlining the overall process, right from scanning it to the vendor payment, is done partially with automation and with a touch of a human intervention, of course, right? But I'm here to talk to you guys today, not about automation, not about manual automation, but smart automation as a process, right? When I say smart, I'm talking about something that involves AI, that involves a deep learning, a system that betters itself with each process, right? So what are the benefits of a smart automation process? Number one, right? Automation, the AP process does consume a lot of paper. And as you guys are aware, a pen and paper process does involve a lot of paper, right? A lot of staple, a lot of files, a lot of physical storage. This in turn makes it susceptible to damage, right? Fires or prints. Sometimes the print just fades out. So that is one of the big challenges with the actual paper process, or manual process of accounts payable. Okay, and of course, when you actually are pulling papers out, they can be read, they can be mistyped, they can actually be entered from one system to another, completely different. Okay, and it is also a very time-consuming task, as most of y'all would be aware. Okay, so with smart automation, the main aim is, of course, to remove, and I would say in this case, completely eradicate the paperwork, go completely paper-free, and of course, take a process that I would say would an ID process take 10 minutes, bring that down to a fraction of seconds, right? So reduce it by 1/10 actual time it would take. And when you actually do that, what you're doing is your team that you've assigned to accounts payable, you are actually freeing up that time for each task that they take 10 minutes, they're taking less than a minute. That's 9 minutes per task, right? So what you're doing, you actually free up these resources. You can probably realign them to higher value tasks, right? And another very big advantage of smart automation is the entire process itself is you increase your visibility, you increase your transparency. At any point, anything is on the cloud, it can be pulled, it can be, if you guys need to review something, if you need, it's just a couple of keystrokes and you can pull that data out, right? Compare that to actually going to a paper filing cabinet and actually, it is a whole world of difference, right? And once you're able to actually do that, the manpower that you were once initially assigning for this task can be optimized, right? Can be realigned. You guys can actually assign FTEs, reduce the amount of FTEs that actually been assigned to that particular department, right? This in turn automatically increases your AP savings. Now, you guys must be wondering, how does it actually increase the AP savings? The fact that you are actually able to recover invoices, actually process them, get them approved faster, means you have happy vendors who are receiving payments faster, and that in turn makes you guys eligible for discounts or reduction in the cost of the products or the services that you guys have purchased. Okay, and another big advantage with having with implementing a smart AP system is that it is 100% scalable, right? You guys want to size it up, size it down based on your operations at any given point of time. It is the process itself, the solution is completely user definable. And once you actually move to a smart automation system, right? These automation systems, of course, run with the latest compliance. They are 100% compliant. And of course, it protects your organization, your data from actual cyber threats. Okay. And your data management, it's all on your fingertips, whether you're accessing it from your laptop or your tablet. So I'm just going to move on to the next slide. And I'm just going to talk to you guys about the differences between a manual automation process, a standard automation process, and a smart automation process. Now, manual automation process, probably a lot of you all have heard about it at some point, would have started off with it. But at this point, today's day and age, everybody has automated a part of the accounts payable, right? There are components of the process that can be automated, and they have done that, right? So a manual automation process is, like it says in the name itself, 100% reliable on human intervention. With the standard AP automation, there is still a couple of components that require human intervention, right? And 90% is automated, yet 10% does require that human touch. With smart automation, however, it is a one-time setup, and then post that it is zero touch. There is no human intervention required. It is completely run by a smart system. Now, taking the time factor with these three comparisons, manual automation process can take from a day up to 20, maybe it really depends on the industry itself, the company, how you guys work, but it can take anywhere from a couple of hours to an entire day, right? Just to enter a single invoice into your system. And with the automated system, of course, this is cut down to a couple of minutes, right? But compare that to a smart automation system. The entire process, right from receiving your invoices from your vendors, can be done in a couple of seconds with absolutely no human intervention at all, right? And when you guys assign AP clerks, right, there has to, when you do the manual process, there has to be a manual verification that has to be done from time to time, right? With the standard automation process, there is a still, you have a couple of minor exceptions. But with smart automation, there is absolutely no verification that has to be done, right? The machine literally picks up on various algorithms and uses data to actually improve itself. And each time it does that process, it is more efficient, it is more time efficient. And that is the beauty of smart automation right there, guys. It just betters itself at every time it gets the process done. And talking about the cost side of things, right? The manual process, in spite of all its flaws, is still the most costly solution out there, because you, of course, require a lot of manpower, all right? And errors, if you guys are aware, errors in a manual process, in an AP process, can cost a lot of time and money, right? And compare that to an automated process, a partially automated process, it is cost effective, it is time efficient. And your data accuracy, of course, is not as accurate as a manual. It's a gray line. But with a smart AP automation, you get a 99.98% data accuracy, and the process itself, with that accuracy, you get a very time efficient system that's constantly learning. It's constantly improving the process. Sorry, let me just get back to. And when it comes to actually viewing the data that your process is actually running, right? On a manual process, you do not have real-time data at your fingertips. With the automated process, you have limited access to real-time data, and with a smart automation process, right? Apart from getting access to real-time data, you are also able to avail the best recommendations, discounts, and market insights available at that point in time. Okay. Now, when it comes to compatibility with various other ERP systems that you guys are probably using, a manual system, as you know, you would not be able to actually integrate with. Automated systems, you are, of course, able to integrate with some limited ERP systems. A smart automation system asks no questions. We integrate with every ERP available in the market right now, right? And these two systems literally talk to each other, and the intelligence is actually exchanged between the ERP and the AP system. Of course, a manual and AP process has no technology involved, and the automation AP has got a basic automation like the standard OCR and a traditional three-way matching, right? We match the invoice, the purchase orders, and the actual goods delivered. With a smart AP system in place, you are equipped with the latest AI tools, machine learning, advanced OCR, right? And IDP and cloud-based processing that constantly learn and upgrade as the process goes forward. Sorry guys, I've just got a little bit of a cough. Moving on to the next slide. So let's touch base here on what are some of the challenges that we as industry experts have actually spoken to CFOs to understand firsthand. What are some of the challenges that they face in their current AP processes, right? Number one on that list, data accuracy, right? With the manual process, with the partially automated process, there is never 100% a match with data accuracy, right? And there is always a loss in translation. There is a loss in the actual figures and what is on paper. Now, when you are in the AP process, of course, you are working with multiple vendors, right? One of the very important things here is when you automate your AP process, how are your vendors receiving the process? How are they able to function along with it? With a smart automation process in place, you will be able to simply access an email from a vendor. All they have to do is just simply invoice an email, and that's pretty much what the vendor does, right? There are no complicated portals for them to log into or actually complicate a process that smart automation makes very simplified, okay? And with the AP process, a lot of people say, you know what, is that a complicated software to use? It is not, all right? It requires a minimum amount of training. It requires a minimum amount of downtime, and it is a very user-friendly interface. Something that Hermes provides, something we believe in, that it's got to be as easy to use as a social media tool, such as Facebook. Moving on, what about security? How compliant are smart automation processes, right? A lot of smart automation, a lot of automation tools, a lot of manual automation processes. There are a lot of loopholes in security, in data security, right? There are a lot of issues when it comes to each state's regulations. Are they compliant? Do they match up, right? That is a challenge that's currently faced for a lot of manual AP processes as well as automated processes, right? And of course, as a CFO, one of the big challenges faced is unauthorized purchases, right? Something that can be scalable in size. It might be on a small level, it might be on a big level, but again, that is a loophole, and that is something nobody wants in their company, right? No matter what degree it is in, right? Now, with a manual AP process, it is actually impossible to actually implement processes to actually check that. In an automated process, there are some tools, right? But with smart automation processes, we have up-to-date compliance with ISO and SOC compliances. Make sure that your systems have actually got the 100% security requirements to keep your data, your company's data, 100% safe, right? A bulletproof system in place. And with a smart automation process, we also offer out multiple integrated payment options that a user can actually choose to work with, right? That might not be available with an automated process and definitely won't be available with a manual process. Okay. And even with an automated ERP AP process, there is very limited ERP systems that you can actually integrate with it, right? Whereas when you actually compare that to a smart automated process, there are no limitations. A smart automated process actually integrates with every ERP system that is out there using an open API, right? And an end-to-end digital transformation, the entire process, right from receiving an invoice to getting it approved to making a payment, the entire process itself is completely digitalized. It's completely automated. And you guys have to just do a one-time setup on a smart system and just watch back and let the process roll and do what it does best. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. So one of the reasons we've hosted this is actually to show you guys a smart automation system, and that is Hermes, right? Something that is owned by Calpion, our parent company, the mothership, right? And let me just give you a little insight into what and how Hermes can help out an industry or a business looking to automate the entire accounts payable process. Okay, so Hermes is completely AI powered. Okay, and it is automated from end to end. Okay, now again, it is not just automated, it is smart automated. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but smart automation is basically complete machine learning using RPA and AI to actually make your process smarter with every attempt at your processing your accounts payable, right? It is extremely cost effective, it is secure, it's agile, and it is customizable based on the way you run your business, right? You can scale it up and down and define it the way you like to run it. We are integrated with advanced optical character recognition, right? That actually goes to your inbox, takes that particular invoice, scans it out, picks up all the information required, assigns that information to the various fields, autofills that, and moves it on to the next process. Okay, and it is completely cloud-based, right? It can be accessed from anywhere at any given point of time, even if you have a remote workforce. And you can eradicate your errors 100% with a smart AP process like Hermes. Okay, we reduce your operational expenses. You can increase massive ramp up on your processing time, and from maybe reduce the process from 10 minutes to less than 30 seconds and make your AP process completely scalable. Okay, and I think I mentioned the compliance earlier. We are completely SOC 1 type compliant. Okay, certified, so you guys have that peace of mind if you are trusting Hermes to do your accounts payable. Gonna touch base on a couple of benefits of actually using the Hermes Smart AP automation. Okay, number one, right? Now, these are figures that have actually been retrieved from the field. It is real-time data. You can improve your team's efficiency by 65% using a virtual assistant. Okay, you can reduce your per invoice processing time from an average of 8 minutes by 1/10 that time taken. Okay, and the application itself, if you had to jump into ROI in a couple of months, right, would be paying for itself. The increase in savings is around 85%. You guys have a zero rate in data from PDF and SAP, thus minimizing any operational cost or even the possibility of a data breach. Improved communication, the process itself is made 100% transparent, and your data can be accessed at any given point of time, retrieved, right? You can render out a better customer service and of vendor relationships. Make you streamline the process. Your customers are happy, your vendors are happy. Along with the process automation, also the virtual assistant helps you to engage your customers, right? And streamlines the entire patient or client engagement for your company.